Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So today is the first of my weekly vlog author updates. So going to chat about what I've been working on in my writing, what I've been reading, and revealing some little bits and pieces from my work in progress and some details and things. So this week I have reached 76,041 words, so I'm on chapter 30 in my first draft. I've also spent a lot of time working on the world building and fleshing out the main characters and finishing off their profiles. I've finished off the world map and I've been working on fleshing out the details of the spirits, the kind of mythology of the world, including a kind of sketch of the creation myth, and I'm going to be working on fleshing out that more completely in the story between all the different spirits and things like that. I'm doing a lot of world building for this because I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to write more stories in this world in the future. And I really enjoy the world building as well. Knowing the lore in the background makes it easier for me to write, and I do find it quite fun to come up with all these different things, even just coming up with different dragon species and locations and things like that. So the kind of plan going forward is I'm aiming to try and get my first draft done by the end of October. If I can do that, then I'll take a wee break from it and work on something else for a little while, and then come back to the second draft of it and feel refreshed so that I can start, kind of getting the second draft out and hopefully getting it ready for beta reading and editing and things like that. One thing I have been thinking about doing, which I think I'd quite like, is to maybe write some short stories, maybe some of the myths and legends of the world as short stories, and maybe even some short stories of my main characters, and putting them on the blog or maybe even on Wattpad or something, just so that you can maybe get to know them a wee bit more without revealing any kind of major spoilers for the book, that kind of thing. So if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know and I'll have a wee think about that and how I want to approach it. So what I've been reading, so recently I read two books that I remembered from reading in my childhood and really loved. I hadn't thought about these books for absolutely ages, for years. So I'm not sure why they kind of popped into my head again, but I decided to reread them. I couldn't find my paperback copy of the book, but I got it on Google Play for a decent price. So the books are Witch Child and Sorceress by Celia Reese. And these are books that follow a girl who her grandmother was hung for being a witch, and she ended up travelling to America during that kind of migration sort of history, and ended up kind of near Salem. And then eventually she ends up living with a tribe of Native Americans, and she marries into them and things, and it's really, really interesting. And I loved them when I first read them, but honestly, reading them again as an adult, they definitely had more impact on me now. And I think it's maybe because I'm more aware of the history of the United States and the impact that the European settlers had on the Native Americans, the impact of religion, of disease, of war, and all of that kind of thing. And there was obviously one of the main subjects is that there was a real fear of witchcraft, which really was a symptom of, kind of oppression of women. So women that had knowledge that could read and write were not to be trusted. Women that could do things. I mean, the Mary, the character, her grandmother was known as a healer. So she would give remedies and things to people. She would help people with delivering their children, with wounds, with disease. And then suddenly somebody decided that that meant that she was a witch. So, that was something that happened a lot. Obviously, we know, particularly in Salem, and that area around Massachusetts, that there was a lot of issues there. Is kind of well known. But it was happening in Britain as well at the time. There was definitely a lot of that going around. Um, and the fact that they considered, the Native Americans as savages, and they weren't to be trusted because their ways were so different. and because they didn't believe in, the Christian God and all that kind of thing. And Mary's story is one that's full of fear and heartbreak, but also love and self-discovery, where she comes into her own, she comes into her power, and she achieves quite a lot. And it's a really, really heartwarming story. So I would highly recommend checking them out, even as an adult. I mean, they are meant as, I think, kind of teen fiction, but it's quite an emotional story, and I think it's definitely worth your time. So currently I am reading When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I've just kind of reached the halfway point of the book, so things are really starting to get quite interesting now. I'm enjoying it, and I'm curious to see where it's going to go next, because the main character is really complex. She's somehow kind of likeable and frustrating at the same time, and she's definitely quite flawed. And that's always a good thing for a main character. They need to have flaws, and they need to have personal things that they overcome, in order to make the story compelling and interesting. So really excited to see where it's going to go, and I'll report back once I've finished reading it to give it a proper review and let you know my thoughts on that. So while we're talking about character traits and the main character, I thought I would maybe share a wee bit about the main character of my novel, Shane. She's a very kind-hearted and empathetic person. She always wants to help people, and she really cares about people's welfare and people's safety. She's also quite a curious sort. She loves learning. She's a real academic at heart. She loves kind of discovering new things. And in terms of her kind of life, that was always her goal, was to kind of go into academia, to study more in terms of herbalism, in terms of healing, improving her healing magic and things like that. But she does have quite a strong sense of justice and a really firm moral compass. And that can lead her to be quite judgmental and overly critical of people who do things that she doesn't really like. And that is something that does particularly cause a wee bit of conflict between her and Alonso, who's an assassin. So that's quite an interesting kind of interaction for those two, because she does judge him quite harshly. And then as they travel together and they get to know each other a bit better, our opinion does kind of start to change of him, which I really, really enjoy. So I like the relationship that's grown between the two of them. Yeah, so that's Shane, and I say every week I will share a wee bit, whether it's something about the world or something about one of the characters, but I'll share a wee bit just so that you have an idea of what's coming when I finally get this book finished. In terms of the rest of my content, so both here on YouTube and on my blog, I've got everything kind of planned out. So on Tuesday we're going to be continuing the Old World Blues series, by starting to collect some of the personalities in the sink, and getting to know them. So that's going to be quite fun. Thursday we're going to look at Vault 75, which is in the Malden area of Boston. And that's really quite an interesting one, quite a horrific story as well, actually. So we're going to look at that. Vault 75 was built underneath an elementary school, so we'll be getting into that. And then Saturday, I had said that I wanted to do Deathclaws next for the Science of Fallout series, but that's going to take a bit more time and work to collect everything that I need and get all the research and stuff sorted, and to get the footage and things that I need. So we're going to look at Night Stalkers, so coming next Saturday. The video will be on Night Stalkers, and the blog, I've got posts coming up, so that's going to be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, possibly Saturday as well. Let me just double check my calendar, because I did plan it all out. Yeah, no, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday, those blog posts will be up, and we're talking about the kind of storytelling and video games and things like that. So it's a subject that, as you can probably guess, I really like talking about, because I really enjoy it, and that's one thing that makes video games really enjoyable for me. And then next Sunday, will be another author vlog update on what I've been working on. And I'll keep you in the know. So the other thing that I'm working on in the background is putting together resources to help writers and authors when it comes to animals and sort of medical subjects. Obviously, my experience as a vet has given me a lot of background knowledge, and some of it quite random, some of it quite useful. And I think having these things available for people, as well as things that might help with people that are wanting to create their own creatures, their own animals, and even kind of mythological creatures, that kind of thing, and they want to create their own versions, then hopefully getting some resources that can help with that and make them sound realistic and that kind of thing, I think will be really helpful for people. So it is something that's going to take some time, but I'm slowly building up pages on my website to cover various topics. So that's something to look forward to, because it's, I do miss and kind of grieve the fact that I've had to give up my career as a vet, because I did really enjoy it, as much as it could be a stressful job and it could be quite difficult, mentally and emotionally draining at times as well. And the problem really for me is that it's become too physically demanding, as my physical health has deteriorated so much. So I think it's a shame. I don't really want all that knowledge and experience to go completely to waste. And I feel like if I can use it to help people and to help authors and writers, even these resources might be good for people that are, that do tabletop RPGs and stuff like that. And I like to be able to have resources that are available, and these resources will not be ever put behind a paywall, because I think when it comes to information and accurate information, because there's a lot of misinformation and things get spread about on the internet, so having good, accurate information in a way that is easy to understand for people that don't necessarily have a degree in veterinary medicine or anything like that, but that it can be helpful. I believe that information like that should be freely available. I don't think it should ever be hidden behind a paywall. So that's kind of something that's a ongoing project in the background. But if there is a particular subject you'd like me to see me cover, I say my main areas of expertise are obviously animals, particularly domesticated animals, but I've treated a lot of wildlife and exotics and various other things, as well as kind of medical stuff. That I do have quite a lot of knowledge about medical stuff, especially obviously veterinary medical stuff. That if there's anything particular you want to see me cover, just let me know. At the moment, I've got pages up on poisons, which I think there's still some more stuff to add to that, but there is, all that stuff will be on the website, and I say it'll be freely available for anybody to use. Obviously, it's written by me, so it can't be copied or anything like that, but if you think it's something that'd be helpful for somebody you know, then feel free to send them the link. And if there is any particular kind of questions, if you're writing something and you think that maybe I can help with my background, let me know, drop me a message, drop me an email, and I'll see what I can do, and I'd be more than happy to help you out with stuff like that. So thanks very much for watching, thanks very much for listening. I hope that you've all had a good week. Obviously tomorrow's Monday, which is back to work day for most people. But well, I do have exciting plans. I'm going through to see my parents tomorrow, because it is my dad's 70th birthday. So we're gonna go out for dinner. So that's going to be nice. And it'd be nice to get out and see my family for a few hours as well. So that's my plans, and then it's going to be a case of working on a book and stuff, and I've got some stuff around the house that I'll need to do in the next few days as well. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.